that's a work in progress. Kind of like online learning. And my joke about construction. Do you want to hear my joke about construction? I'm still working on it. Welcome to Tim Straka History, and thank you for allowing me to penetrate your ears this afternoon. Today's episode is going to be on the Roanoke colony, so stay tuned. So the Roanoke colony is often referred to as the Lost Colony, and we're going to talk about why that is extensively here. But before we get too far into that concept, let's talk about why all these European countries like England, France, and Spain wanted to colonize North America throughout the 1500s, 1600s, and 1700s, when these English-claimed areas evolve into the 13 British colonies that we know so well. So why would these European countries want to settle in North America? Well, a lot of reasons, but they're mainly economic reasons and religious reasons. So France and Spain, they were big into claiming lands as their own and then finding natural resources to make money off of. So, for instance, France was big into the fur trade with the Native Americans. And Spain was big on claiming land for its country in North America and then growing sugarcane and spices, harvesting them, and then shipping them back to Spain to sell all throughout Europe. Both Spain and France were really big on claiming lands in North America and then spreading the Catholic religion, which they were both Catholic nations at the time, all throughout North America, especially to the Native American tribes who settled within the areas of which they colonized. England, similarly, is going to colonize parts of North America for both economic and religious reasons. Originally, England is colonizing North America in hopes of finding resources of which it can profit from. Later on, England begins exiling people living within England that believe in something different than the Church of England to colonies over in North America. Which is a perfect segue into why the colony of Roanoke was established. So it starts out as an idea of the Queen's advisor, Sir Walter Raleigh, in 1585. Sir Walter Raleigh has this idea that if people from England settle permanently over in English-claimed lands in North America, that they're eventually going to find some valuable resource, whether it be gold or some other type of natural resource that England is going to be able to make a lot of money off of. Okay, and eventually he convinces the Queen that Queen Elizabeth is going to be able to tax these people over in English-claimed territories in North America, which is going to lead to England, the English government, gaining more money. So Sir Walter Raleigh eventually convinces the Queen to fund the establishment of a permanent settlement over in England. So after being provided with the funds for all the supplies, the crew, and the ships needed to go over and establish this permanent settlement over in English-claimed lands in North America, Sir Walter Raleigh will send around 100 men. Okay. And they're going to sail up and down the eastern coast of North America looking for an ideal place to put England's first permanent settlement. Okay. Where do they arrive? They decide upon establishing it right off the coast of North Carolina on an island that will come to be known as Roanoke. So kind of right around the Outer Banks, for those of you that are familiar with that area. It has become a popular vacation spot for United States citizens. And 100 men are going to arrive right there on the coast. But things are going to be so rough during that first winter after they start building the settlement that they're going to run out of supplies, they're going to run out of food, they're going to decide to leave and go back to England. So nobody permanently settles over in North Carolina yet. Now, in the next attempt, Sir Walter Raleigh is going to send men, women, and children. So what does this tell us about Sir Walter Raleigh's second attempt? Well, it tells us that he and the English government are a lot more serious about establishing a permanent settlement over in North America. Because you'll learn this in your science classes, you're going to need male and female people to establish a permanent settlement. Okay. So he's going to send over in 1587 91 men, 17 women, and 9 children. And this time, they're going to be led by a gentleman by the name of John White. And his daughter, his daughter's husband, and his grandchild are going to come along for this attempt at establishing a permanent settlement in Roanoke. But they're going to run into a similar problem, okay, when compared to the first crew that tries to establish a permanent settlement at Roanoke. They're going to run out of supplies. So White is going to take their big ship and a few men with him back to England. But he's going to encounter some troubles over there. Okay, he's not going to be able to get back to Roanoke for 2 years. Okay, the reason being, England is at war with Spain, and the Queen refuses to give John White a single ship to go back to the Roanoke colony in North America. She claims she needs all hands on deck to defend England against the mighty Spanish Armada. An Armada is just really a very, very large fleet. So this time, it's claimed the Spanish put together the largest fleet of ships ever seen in the world to attack England. So the Queen's going to claim that she can't release a single ship. All ships need to remain in England defending England. So England will eventually come out victorious during this war. And after England successfully defeats Spain in the war, John White is finally going to make it back to check on his colony over in North America. Okay. When he finally arrives, he is not going to find any traces of the settlement. And he knows for sure he's in the right spot because he was a skilled navigator. So he arrives in the settlement right where the settlement used to be. And the only thing that he finds is the word Croatoan carved into a tree that used to be part of a gatepost. Okay, and Croatoan is the name of a nearby island where the Croatoan Indians settled. So the settlers completely vanished. The settlement completely vanishes. Nobody to this day knows what happened to the settlers. Okay, it is still a mystery in history, as it's often referred to as. Okay. There are several theories that have emerged explaining what happened to the settlers of Roanoke. Some people think that they got desperate for food and they went off to live amongst another group of Native Americans nearby. Some believe the Native Americans came and ambushed the settlement and burned it to the ground. Some believe the Spanish, who colonized Florida, just south of North Carolina, well, a ship ride south of North Carolina, and the Spanish knew that the English were settling up in the North Carolina area. And some historians think that the Spanish rode up from Florida, attacked the settlers at Roanoke, and destroyed their settlement. Which that would make sense to a lot of historians because England was at war with Spain. And there are several other theories that aim to explain what happened to the settlers of Roanoke. So after doing some of your own investigating, which we're going to do this week in class, you are going to be forming your own conclusion or theory explaining what happened to the settlers of Roanoke. So stay tuned. I look forward to an exciting week. I will see all of you again soon.